TypeScript Congress is almost here. Mark your calendars for September 21st and 22nd to connect with a vibrant TypeScript community and learn about everything from tooling to testing. Kit Nation were kind enough to connect us with the speakers so we could learn more about their passions. As developers go, Matteo has a very impressive profile, and I would go even as far as to say that for a lot of us, he has an endgame portfolio. He is the co-founder and CTO of Programatically, a prolific open sourcer with projects like Fastify and Pino that are downloaded billions of times a year, and is also a member of the Node.js Technical Steering Committee. I caught up with Matteo to learn more about his thoughts on TypeScript, so let's go. So hello Matteo, it's great to have you over here. Can you give a brief introduction for yourself and your background in TypeScript?
Hi everyone. I am Matteo Collina, CTO and co-founder of Programatically, a new startup. We are building backend APIs, making sure that you spend less time doing boring stuff and can innovate and create more interesting things. So check us out. So it's that's what we do. My background: I am also part of the Node.js Technical Steering Committee. I am the co-author of a framework called Fastify that has been growing well, and a lot of stuff like that. So I don't want to bother a lot of people with my resume. So I don't know. Check it out. It's on LinkedIn, my website, whatever.
Yeah. So it's very easy to find information about you, and you've done a lot of things, and you have quite an impressive profile. You also created Pino, which has 5 million weekly downloads. It's something that I've used in my previous jobs as well.
Oh yeah, everybody uses Pino, so please use Pino. If you're watching this and you don't know what Pino is, you should probably save yourself a lot of trouble and just use Pino for logging. You know, it's completely boring technology in the sense that it just works, and it removes the problem of logging from your Node apps. Okay, so just do that, and you're good. So
the concept of structured logging is definitely something that you want to have. You don't want to be looking through
console log is the worst possible kind of logging that you can do. So, and a lot of people do, and I'm just like, what the heck are you using console log for logging? Like, why?
It's the one that's mentioned by default in a lot of the deployment systems, like Google Cloud mentioned that, hey, you do a log and then you can look at the console logs in the log of your cloud functions. They really should say that.
It's even a lot of front-end frameworks do that too. Like, it makes no sense.
So you are presenting at the TypeScript Congress 2023.
Yes, I am. And in fact, it's so much fun about this because if you told me a couple of years ago that I would speak at a TypeScript conference, I would say absolutely not. No, and this is never going to happen. I'm not a TypeScript developer. I reluctantly support TypeScript everywhere. Okay. And more or less, I'm speaking about my journey in TypeScript and how I could create a good TypeScript developer experience with not a lot of coding effort. Let's put it that way. Okay. And I have been my main reason to adopting TypeScript is by popular demand. Okay, I have a lot of people wanted types in my open source, so I said, well, if you want to have types, don't put them on definitely typed. That has so many problems. So if you want them, they need to be part of of the project itself. This is the main way people interact with my software. So they need to be part of the experience. Therefore, they need to be part of my repo, not dictated by somebody else, third party, which I have no control of. So anyway, that's the gist. And so we started getting the PRs in. We started adding types. Then later on, this has been going for years because at the beginning it was Fastify and Pino and so on. To be honest, at the beginning I was a little bit in trouble with. I didn't have a good relationship with the TypeScript community. I thought it was the first, generation of the TypeScript community. Mostly quite a bit of toxicity. Can I rewrite your library in TypeScript? And I said, no, I don't know TypeScript. So why would I want to have it rewritten in TypeScript? and
Yep.
And they were very upset about me saying that to them, and I just you're coming into my house and telling me that I need to paint my walls blue, but it's my house, so you know, it's I'm not. To be honest, I never understood that kind of approach to people. Okay, where can I just come and rewrite your thing?
I
Why?
think I've been a bit of a part of that mindset as well. And the motivation originally was, if we don't support it and if people don't support it, then maybe TypeScript will go away, and then the people that really love TypeScript might have to go back to JavaScript. And that kind of fear, anything that's powered by fear, is normally not a good mindset. And that
Again, basically, if I was on the fence, it's completely push on the anti-camp TypeScript. I immediately, okay, enough of those. I was just like, no. Okay, I'm not even touching this anymore. So this has been a few years later. TypeScript became this worldwide phenomenon, and then I ended up being, we need to support this. We had the types in Pino, we had the types in Fastify. Lately, I encouraged contribution from you probably know the library TypeBox. So have you ever heard about? Have you ever heard about TypeBox? Well, you know, it is so much fun. This is that's something that makes no understanding to me. So there is this library called TypeBox, okay, which provide it's a great library to provide types for JSON schema. So you could express JSON schema using types, and it creates it's such a lovely interface. Okay,
nice.
And this library is super popular, okay? And I am absolutely stunned by how popular is this library. Like this library gets 22 million downloads per week.
Oh wow, that is insane.
Okay, just to clarify, and this is a library that gives you the ability to express types using. Create a JSON schema using types, okay? And then you can take that JSON schema and put it to a validator like KJV or something like that, any of the JSON schema compatible validators, to actually validate their data, okay? And this is the link. I put the link in the chat, so probably they will find this thing in the info box, whatever. And it's just a little bit of fun here. One of the libraries that has taken a very similar approach,
Zod,
and it's a lot of people know it now. It's very popular and so on, which is Zod, and Zod has 5 million downloads per week. Like it makes and every time I say to people, but you should use TypeBox. I said, well, nobody's using TypeBox. Whatever, it uses 4 times the amount of time. I'm sorry. I'm just. This makes no sense. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to mention it because from time to time we live the developers live in their own bubble, and they might not be super aware of the topic. Okay, sorry. Going back to the discussion. So the author of TypeBox came in and did a massive work on Fastify types to be able to allow developers to specify on every route. Fastify support validation embedded in it, right? So whenever you create your route, you can define the JSON schema of the stuff of the data that's coming in, like the query string, the headers, the body, and so on and so forth, and also of the response, which is used then to render things quickly and so on. And what Sinclair did, it took it extended our types and made and allowed everybody to basically use write their types and then automatically get the data validated when it comes in. So basically, you can specify the data, your types once using TypeBox, for example, or even Zod. It doesn't matter. The system is completely generic, and then it automatically the data gets validated when it comes inside the routes. So providing a very good developer experience. Before that, people like to say, I need to, if I want to have my body typed, I ended up having to create the validation rules and then the types for the data, right? and which was essentially a duplicated effort, and nobody liked that.
Runtime types.
And then with this approach, you can just write the types once, and from there, the TypeScript machine, the TypeScript compiler, and plus TypeBox or the odd whatever gets the JSON schema, and that is fed to AJV.
I think validating the front end responses on the server and then making sure that the front end and the server share common types and common interfaces for the things that they are talking about is one of the reasons why full stack development is great, because they can both use Node.js, JavaScript, front end, back end, and TypeScript on the front end, back end as well. And I think Fastify is definitely thinking about that mindset, making it available on the front end and ensuring that it's validated on the back end.
Yes. Well, it's it's not that the problem mostly. The problem is somebody else can call those endpoints. So if you're not validating your data, it's not just your the application. It's people. It's third party. Like you need to validate the data. So here we are mixing two concerns. Okay. Yeah. The first concern about validating the data is protection against third parties, against attackers. Okay. So I need to validate my data because if I don't, a third party, some malicious actor could jump into the system and try to create havoc and disrupt or extract data or do sort of ugly things. So this is the reason why it's that you need validations. Okay. The other concern is provide a good developer experience to the developers. Okay, and the one is the developers of the back end, and the other one is the developers of the front end. Okay, and it's so there is this concept of, and this has become very popular in the last few months. Okay, of sharing types between the server and the front end. Okay, so that you have your same type. You have. I tend to not like that approach, to be honest. Okay, I think
sharing types was always common, but what I think is becoming more and more common is sharing the same code as well on the client.
I find that approach not great, mostly because I don't think it creates a tight coupling between the server and the client. Okay, and especially if you have the server and your APIs, like. If that approach works phenomenally, if you are a solo developer building or a very small team building a single focused app, the moment you start having a lot of people working on the same technology and you start wanting to have, I also now need a mobile client. Okay. And now you are, you need to call it with Swift. Oh, but my definition is only on the types. How do I reuse the... This is where it's a few of the approaches that are being popularized these days. I think are a little bit problematic in the.
They're not technology agnostic.
They're not technology agnostic. Okay, like from my point of view, an API definition has to be technology agnostic. So I need to be able to take that API definition and build clients in any other languages, and we should provide more or less the same level of developer experience from it.
Definitely.
Okay, OpenAPI is a standard that Fastify can produce more or less out of the box. So if you express your validation in each of your route, you can just install a plugin and you get automatically an OpenAPI definition for all your routes. However, then the question was, well, but I have this super nice OpenAPI definition. How do I move that OpenAPI? How do I consume that on the front end? Okay, is there an easy way to consume that on the front end? And this was And that was the screech here was like, the sound was not great. Okay, there was if you sound effect, it does, there was no good way, not an easy way in which I could. There was a very good developer experience there.
I've seen lots of developers roll their own for that reason.
They rolled their own. Okay, again, at Platformatic we dog food all of our tech, and then we ended up having to write all our clients. Okay. And then it was just like, oh, how much time have we lost here? Like, I was just looking at the math and I was just like, this makes absolute no freaking sense. So I was like, doing a startup and also doing a little bit of math on how much of salary time this cost versus money. And that's, but can we just remove all of that, please? This does not add any value whatsoever to my product. And then this concept of the clients came to be. Okay, so Platformatic, okay, is we have developed this tool that can take an OpenAPI definition and create a single level, create a client for it, okay, to be consumed on the front end. We have two clients, one for the back end, one for the front end. We'll talk about that. Why we have two. I will explain this in my talk. But the concept here is we want to generate those clients, okay? And generating those clients, I don't want to spoil all the talk, okay? So we generate those clients. The question of how do we generate those clients, okay? And we needed to generate the types for them, and the code for them, and the types. And I was just like. And then I started looking, and I was just, this is a massive amount of literature on how to generate TypeScript and types and all the things. And there is this phenomenal library called TSMorph that apply AST manipulation. Yeah, and I was just like, I tried to open it, or I tried to open the AST, constructing things manually using the TypeScript API. And I run away fast, very fast. Okay, and then there is the talk. Okay, so how we solve this problem, how we generate this code, how we do all these sort of things with as an unsafe way as possible, is the most unsafe way as possible, but to generate something that is actually very useful for developers and stuff. So I'm very keen to present this and to the TSCongress audience and see what they think.
TSMorph is brilliant for someone who's looking at the TypeScript compiler. Like if you want to use the TypeScript compiler for doing some analysis on your code base, it's better if you use TSMorph. TSMorph is like, you do find me all the classes. You literally have a few function chains and it will find you all the classes that exist in your code base, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, okay, just to clarify, TSMorph is amazing, okay? So at the beginning, I started looking at the abstract syntax tree of TypeScript and said, and then somebody recommended use TSMorph. Okay, I look at TSMorph. TSMorph is great for querying and for applying modification to an AST that you already have. To generate something new, not great. Okay, it's well, not necessarily not great. It's still great, but it's still an order of simplification compared to using the TypeScript alone, but it's still way too complex for the time that I had available. So
I think one hack that you could do is you could feed it the code that you want and then get the TSMorph result for it and then use that to modify it.
We'll talk a little bit about this. We'll talk a little bit about what we do in the. I don't want to spoil it. Like we need to keep the
perfect. I'm very excited about it.
The tension for the conference, right? So it's it's something very interesting. Okay, so I'll let people check it out. It's really nice, I think.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you want to give a shout out to? This is your stage.
So a few things. So again, as I said, we are building Platformatic. It's a new way to build your backends, and your APIs. So check us out. I think we can streamline quite a few of your development needs.
Perfect. Thank you, Matteo, for spending your time with us today.
Thank you, Basarat,
and,
for having me.
questions.
I have been. I tell the story of my story on TypeScript and my ramblings of reluctant TypeScript developer, as I can put
Loved
it that
it.
way.
Perfectly honest. Beautiful.
And it's hopefully can't wait to share my point of view and my story at the conference. So come and watch. Great. And my daughter just came back, so perfectly timed.